Hi, I'm Jason Leahy, Executive Director of the Illinois Principals Association. Thank you for joining me for this IPA talk, and with me today I'm fortunate to have with me Emily Fox, who is the Director of Educator Effectiveness. I think I got that right, Emily?
Right,
okay.
yeah.
They're changing up titles and such at the state board, and so I'm doing my best to keep track of that. But Emily works with ISBE and does a lot with teacher licensure and a variety of things there. But first, thanks, Emily, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to get into licensure-related issues. But Emily, I just thought it'd be nice for those that don't know you, aren't familiar with you and the work that you do, if you could just share a little bit about your background or what you're responsible for at the state board.
Sure. Like Jason said, my name is Emily Fox, and I work in the Educator Effectiveness Department at the State Board of Education. I've been there almost 8 years. I've been in a couple of different roles when I've been there. I started as an evaluator, so evaluating applications for licensure. Then I moved over to educator preparation, and then now our department oversees everything. So we oversee educator licensure, educator renewal, and also educator preparation.
Great. Well, you did so well with all of those things, right? They just put it all in one spot.
Makes sense.
You bet. So I know that at the agency, you guys have been studying these issues quite a bit, and I'm grateful for that. But you know, one of the things that I appreciate probably as much as anything is you know, the short-term things that you have tried to do to make it such that people can maybe more easily enter into the profession, that school leaders can get people into spots so that we make sure that we've got good adults in front of kids and teaching them. So let's take this first and foremost just from a regulatory perspective. You know, as we look at short-term solutions right now with regards to the pipeline, you guys have taken several steps that I'm not sure people are aware of, and I really didn't even know everything that the state board had done until one of our more recent principal advisory meetings that we had with the state superintendent, and then you listed off all of these various things that you've been up to. So would you mind just sharing some of the things that you've tried to do to make things more workable for folks out in the field?
Sure. One of the biggest things that we've done recently is create a new interactive web tool to help districts better understand their options with assigning teachers to different roles within their schools. So this tool is on our website, and the district will go there and they will enter in what position they want the teacher to teach, what grade range they want the teacher to teach, and they'll be led through a series of steps, almost like an interactive flow chart, before arriving at a final destination that tells them what credential or what other requirements that person would need to meet in order to be assigned to that position.
So in order to get to that, where's the best way for them to do that?
Perfect. So if you go to the ISBE website, scroll down to the educator licensure box. It's a picture of a woman teaching a few children, and we have a direct link to the tool under there. It's the third or fourth item down.
Excellent. Very good. So what other things besides providing the tool has the state board been up to then?
We have some rule changes in the pipeline.
Okay.
One big change that we're making in rules is extending the short-term approval option another 3 years, which will be big. We've heard from a lot of districts and a lot of stakeholders that they're still having difficulties filling positions, so the short-term approval has been a lifesaver. The short-term approval allows an educator to get in the classroom for 3 years while they're working toward the full requirements for the endorsement that they're seeking. Another change with the Part 25 rules is related to adding subsequent endorsements. So a lot of districts have teachers that they want to put into other positions within that school, but the teacher hasn't met the requirements for that full endorsement yet. Most endorsements are currently 24 hours of coursework and the test. Those are the requirements to earn it. Our Part 25 changes will reduce those requirements to 18 semester hours of coursework and the content area test. And we feel that this still keeps the rigor high and still ensures that teachers will be qualified for their positions, but it will enable more teachers to transfer between different roles in the schools.
Yeah, that's great. So let me, just as coming to mind here, I want to step back to what you described earlier in terms of the short-term, provisional type of status. And I'm just kind of throw out a scenario to you and see, what somebody would deal with in this situation. So I'm thinking of a high school principal who hired a teacher that had a kinesiology degree and was able to get that person into that position for 2 years, but then after that wasn't able to continue to keep her on in that role. So with what you described previously, would this high school principal have been able to keep that teacher in that position for a period of time longer?
Possibly.
Okay.
I definitely recommend that districts utilize the interactive tool because one of the first steps on that tool is saying what position you want the educator to teach, and then you're able to see what, in addition to an endorsement, a teacher might be able to hold to be able to be in that position.
Okay, that's great. Appreciate you letting me kind of digress there a little bit with that. So what other types of work are you doing from a regulatory perspective?
One more change that is coming with these Part 25 changes that are in the pipeline is allowing subsequent teaching endorsements to be added at any grade range on the license. So back in 2013, we switched from certification to licensure, and at that point in time, the professional educator license was supposed to be the foundation to which any endorsement could be added. And it's taken us some time to get there.
Right.
And I feel like that we're finally there with regulatory changes. So any teacher, regardless of if they were prepared as an early childhood educator or an elementary educator, will be able to add subsequent teaching endorsements at different grade ranges by meeting the coursework and testing requirements.
Right. Well, I know that will be a big relief because I know assignability and such has been really tough and a struggle for those out in the field. Yeah. So these are some of the things that have been done now. And I guess a question I've got for clarification is, has this moved through the rules process? Are these approved now? Where are we at with that?
These rules are in the final stages of approval. Okay. So they're with JCAR currently, and they should be finalized any day now.
Okay. Well, let's hope we get a Christmas present then and get those in. That would be lovely. All right. So that's where we are here, kind of in the short term, and trying to maximize current regulatory relief and of course, doing things within what ISBE can do right now. So moving forward, where is the agency, I guess in a couple of things. Before we talk maybe too long term, if school leaders are still struggling or wanting to make sure that they're maximizing the full flexibility they can, even if there's maybe some extreme emergency types of situations that they may have. From what I've heard in previous conversations, at least I think that I've heard, is that they might be able to reach out to the regional office or even the state board and try to work through those really difficult circumstances that they might have. So could you explain maybe any more flexibility or help that they could get out in the field?
Sure, absolutely. We definitely recommend that they reach out to their regional office of education or intermediate service center first. We do have a phone number that educators can call to reach our educator effectiveness department directly. That number is 217-557-6763. Okay. And educators or districts can also email us at licensure@isbe.net.
Okay, wonderful. We'll also be sure to put those in the message or in the video as well, so people can get quick access to that. And that's extremely helpful. So now what are the next steps as we think about this more long term? You think about the work that you're doing within the department, and the work that you oversee, and then the agency overall, because I believe that that the state board currently, meaning the board members, are kind of looking at their strategic plan, setting the goals. But I think teacher, principal, school leader effectiveness are going to be a part of that entire conversation. But getting more into the pipeline is going to be a subset of that. So what kind of conversations are you having? What type of work are you seeing being planned for the future?
Right. A next step for us is connecting this work to existing efforts that are going on statewide, and of course, drafting some more policy changes. So there are still some changes that need to be made to Part 25, which is the licensure section of administrative code. We're planning to bring together some stakeholder groups early in 2020 to help us think through some of those changes that need to be made to Part 25. A particular area of focus that we want this group to help with is looking at the short-term approvals and how we can possibly expand those to allow more educators to enter the profession while still meeting high standards.
Interesting. So, if people are interested in keeping track of this and monitoring what's going on, what can they do to be sure to do that?
The best place to look would be on our licensure webpage. Okay. It is isbe.net. Scroll down to the educator licensure box, click on that. You're taken directly to our department webpage. We post updates there. We also post a lot of updates in the superintendent's weekly message. So if anybody would like to sign up for that listserv, you can shoot me an email at efox@isbe.net, and I'll make sure I route that to the proper person at ISBE.
Very good. Well, Emily Fox, Director of Educator Effectiveness. I say it twice just to make sure that I remember for the future. Thanks for joining me here for this IPA talk. I'm sure people are interested in this topic, and I'm guessing that you might hear some people reaching out to you as a result. So thanks again for that. Thank you again for joining us for this IPA talk. For all related information and links, be sure to check out the description below. My name is Jason Leahy, Executive Director of the Illinois Principals Association. If there's anything that the IPA can do for you, don't hesitate to check us out on the web at ilprincipals.org. Take care.